supporting, all of our initiatives and our quests um, to really, provide your kids some quality instruction. And so, one of the things the couple of announcements that I have, and one is that the DOE actually came out with information. They're going to be rolling out, and we kind of said that weeks ago. They're going to be rolling out 100,000 new devices. And one of the things that I've learned today is that we were able to put ourselves in a priority order due to our affiliation with College for All, and because of that, we actually requested uh, for about 100 devices to be disseminated to those individual parents who actually don't have a device, a DOE device. And so, one of the things that I want to if you have a computer at home, and you're using that computer, I think Ms. Poe is gonna talk a little bit about what are the appropriate devices that your kids should be on. And the phone is not an appropriate device. And please, one of the things we want you support us on this. A child shouldn't have their phone near if they're going to be taking classes, because they're not allowed to have them in school. So let's try to mirror the school environment, as close as you can to the home environment that which presently. So the phone shouldn't be near your kids, because that's something that is going to be utilized, and it's going to basically be a competition for attention, right? So we want to be able to make sure that your child has an iPad or a laptop, whichever the preference is. But we also want our community to really benefit from the 100,000 devices that the DOE is going to administer. And so we are we're on that list. And so today they confirmed with me the amount of devices that we still needed. And I just used the figure of 100 because I feel that that would relieve your internet, your Wi-Fi. Again, not all of the providers have the appropriate speed for your Wi-Fi, so some of our applications could be a challenge operating in normal frequency because of the need to have a bigger bandwidth. The other unfortunate situation that I am going to have to let you know is that the building just received a couple of days ago a positive case. It was not in our school, but it was in the building. And so the good news out of that is that the person wasn't in the building. It didn't happen in the building when the person was encountered that positive COVID, exam. But still, it's going to be on the website. And so, although it might just say 1930 Andrews Avenue, so just in case, I want to make sure that I provided you with the information. We also had 2 teachers who had contacted or had contact with someone that I think for now tested positive. And so those 2 individuals are self-quarantine. And so they really don't have, they're not allowed to come into the building until they produce a negative test. So what we're seeing is a slight uptick on these cases. And so, the DOE has already tested 2,000 students. Well, actually 2,000 students have already they delivered a positive test in all of the, they are testing us once a month. Our test is going to be on Friday, and it's based on parental participation. and parental consent. We received most of the consent back. Parents wishing to go through the testing process. They're going to be testing 8 adults and 8 children in our campus. This Friday is going to be the A group, and then next month I think they're going to come when the B group is in session. But right now, the concern is that there have been already 2,000 students, school-aged kids that have tested positive. We don't know how many they've tested. That data is not available. The issue in our school is that we have kids that are asymptomatic. They have no symptoms. And so it's very rare, very difficult to really, assess whether or not they have, because a lot of, kids are, some kids are asymptomatic rather than the symptomatic where they have the fever and they have all the signs of an infection. The other is that we want to be able to determine, how happy or the challenges with remote learning versus in person. Soon there's going to be the option to request in-person instruction, but we want to be able to assess, our services with the remote, knowing that we're now in the process of preparing kids for the specialized high school exam, which is going to be administered in November. We received information around testing. For now, testing is going to be in person, and so we don't really know how that's going to happen and what are the challenges of social distancing and maintaining social distancing in a confined area is going to mean. But that testing date is going to be right around April for the state exam. We had a case in which our Google Meet for 6th grade class was had some security lapses. Kids were exposed to inappropriate material by I want to say the person was unfortunately was an adult, and we have those individuals. We did all that we could do on our part to report that case to the Department of Education. And so we are changing our platform to Zoom, because at Zoom, the security, lapses that, and people entering the room, the teacher has to be able to allow them in under the Google platform. Is easy to get to have access to those sites, especially if you know a child's password. So you have to have the email address and the password in order to gain access. And that's how this individual gained access to a Google Meet class. But, everyone now is transitioned to Zoom. And whenever class starts, if the teacher, sees that someone is trying to gain access, they're not going to allow them in unless, if they know the individual. Okay. Mr. Duran, there's any questions I can answer, or we can put on the chat, or we can come back and answer those questions.
Sure. Do we have any questions for Mr. Mercedes? You could also write them on the chat. If we don't, then we could answer some at the end of Ms. Ciprian's presentation. And now let's go with Ms. Ciprian. Ms. Ciprian, if you would like to introduce yourself, and let me know when you need me to change the slides, okay?
So hello everyone, my name is Alva Ciprian, and I'm a social worker intern under the supervision of Ms. Zebello, and I'm gonna talk about a little of me. I'm for the New York City Health and Hospital, which is in charge of, just focuses on cases and also contact, and as well just being assigned another program, which is a very recently program approved by de Blasio, Bill de Blasio, which is the program targeting the traveler who come from different states and also country, with high rate of 19, and the second program is called the COVID-19 Response Team. So before moving forward, I add my email, my MS390 email that you can, as well, could take a screenshot or a picture. If you have any question related to this topic, I work directly inside with the COVID-19 industry, and I will definitely be happy to answer any of your questions. I also add my phone number as well. Next slide, please. So yeah, starting with our first program that we developed when the pandemic, when the COVID-19 spread in here, was the NYC Health and Hospital. Our main purpose was just to focus in our city and our state to protect our people as we could. But as time passed, we realized that we had to develop another program as well to cover what we was not viewing at the moment, which was people are coming from, and we as New Yorkers, here's where the money is made. So it's very difficult just to stop everything. So what we're doing is just help to keep everything a little bit under control by monitoring the activity of people. And again, our main purpose right now is just to watch out for everyone when it comes to when someone becomes a contact or a case. I will go a little bit more in detail on that. And when the person become a contact or a case, of course, it will be an isolation process or quarantine process. And hey, I just want to start by saying that you are not alone. We all together in this situation, and we are facing the same thing. We are trying to establish a procedure that really help us to fight this virus until we got possible cures in the future. And as you know, de Blasio again set in place those programs with the purpose of, again, protecting the New Yorkers. So every time you hear NYC Health and Hospital or any traveler program, think on that we are just trying to help people out, because we work for that department, helping people as much as possible. Every day we're working hard to stop the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We've been hiring around 3,000 plus people, which is a great amount. And we still have open space to hire more people that could help us through this process as well. We also have people on field, like my job. I work from my home, so I don't have to go out. What I do is call people from here, take an intake, which I'm gonna go into that as well in the next slide. But I'm working from home and calling people and making sure that the information is correct. But we also have people such as I highlight in the last bubble, which is the word bold, which is investigator and also research navigator. And they are very important to help in this process, because when we receive the information, but they also verify that the information is correct when they go door by door. Those people are just making sure that people are safe at home. If someone doesn't answer the phone someone doesn't make the call that I tend to make, I would just definitely assume that something is happening. And again, our program is just based on prevention. We just want to prevent any further ado and do that this situation is life-threatening for most people. We definitely don't want to play with us. So research navigator will or investigator will go to your door, knock, and see if you need any research as well. If the research navigator see that you cannot maintain the distance in your home, he will or she will make sure that you apply for the research that we have available as well, such as hotel and other research as well that I could go forward.
Miss Cyprian, can I interrupt? So what you're saying is that when the contact tracer become in contact with the family, the purpose of the contact is just to provide them with resources and guidance in how to deal with any contact that they may have with someone who has been infected?
Yes, that is definitely what it is. We definitely want to make sure that we are covering all aspects, not just only looking at people who have the COVID-19, but people who are being around that person. because that is where the spread of the virus starts. And thank you for jumping in. I definitely want to say that I consider this is kind of like a joke that I do in my work environment, where I say that we are doing a similar work that a social worker does, which means we open a window to connection to other people. So we are basically that window. There is nothing to feel harassed or afraid, because we are here just to help out. And when someone becomes a case or a contact, the first thing that we do is an intake. It will look similar what you can see in your screen, which is an introduction, just getting base information of you. Demographic, you might feel like, why do I need to give so much information? Well, just looking what is the important of demographic information, we see where is the high spot are located. We see that Brooklyn right now has an hotspot. So it's to that data that we collect, that all of you help us to collect. That's how we can gather that important information. Going to congregate setting. If you live in a setting, a congregate setting could be defined as a prison, as a homeless shelter, as a nursing home, and other places that are sometimes make it difficult for other people to maintain the distance between themselves. So if you live in those places, we would definitely help you out to find a place such as hotel where you can isolate yourself and again prevent any further ado. We also assist with symptoms and medical condition. Some people are very at high risk of getting the COVID-19, and if they do, there's a really a bad consequence for that, such as hospitalization and including death. So we want to make sure that we're looking at that in our intake as well. We also have protocol for isolation and quarantine. Quarantine is more like if you're in contact with someone who has the COVID-19, you would be in quarantine if you're coming from another state. So let me tell you that. At the beginning, we only was targeting the people in our state. Whoever comes from a state that was considered hotspot, we would call them and make sure that they are in quarantine, you know, the law. That is being put in place. But we didn't have much power from people that are traveling from countries that are considered a higher spot as well. So right now, recently they just updated and we acquire more power on that position. So we have power to say, if you're coming from this, later on, I'm gonna show you where you could find yourself at some level of how we are organizing the country by level 3, 2, and 1, starting by level 3 as the highest with COVID-19 that you could protect yourself. So before starting this program, is a lot of changes that we are making, and it's great because that make us to care more about ourselves. Also the monitoring preference, we saw many people very concerned about the monitoring. There was only a lot of calls. We didn't have much options of flexibility at the time. And again, we just want to create things flexible for everyone because we feel the same. We try to imagine how you are feeling with this stressful situation. And we create as well, we can contact the person either to call or just text message. So our young population prefer text message. And again, we wanted to make sure that they receive what they can get. And again, during the step, we will discuss some information about like testing sites. If you need to call 311 or go to the website nyc.gov/COVID test just to look where is the closest site to get the COVID-19. Some people ask.
So Miss Cyprian, are you saying that when the contact tracer contact a family, they have been in close proximity or is being exposed to someone who is positive and they need to quarantine and they cannot quarantine within their immediate family or within their residence, the program that you work with will help them secure in a space, in a hotel, in another location for them to quarantine?
Yes, that is correct. We also offer safe transportation to get to the place as well. Like some people might feel, from my home to get to the hotel, I might be infecting people. So we also offer some flexibility that way as well.
Thank you.
Yes. Next slide. And here we go. This is my favorite question. We all ask that question how can I protect myself and others? So as you know, there's 4 principles. Stay at home if you're sick. The first thing that you should be considering when you are sick is that we are telling people 24 hours to 48 hours. You need to stay in your home, and if the symptoms doesn't improve, please contact your doctor and also get the test for the COVID-19. Physical distance. We know for a fact that the virus only can travel 6 feet of distance. So if we know that, we will maintain ourselves as much as far as possible from other people. Again, wearing a face covering. Why this is important? We just don't want the virus to stay moving all over the place. And the last one is one of the most encouraging one. Practice health and hygiene. Again, this is something that as parents should be, we have to do it and also encourage them to do it. Basically, wash your hands. If you're not in a place where you could do wash your hands with hand and soap, please use the hand sanitizer. Our kids around, sometimes they are being touching surface. Make sure that we are wiping those surface. We don't have to use fancy things to clean surface. Usually you can use any disinfectant that you might have in your home. As well, make sure that they are not touching their mouth or nose when they have their hands dirty. So we very, very have to be careful on those. One thing that I want to add here is that I see people are using their hands when you cough or sneeze. The recommendation for that is use your able, because we are touching everywhere and our hands move a lot, and we don't want just to spread the virus anywhere. Yeah, next slide. And another of my favorite part, we are not telling people just, to be in the corner. We definitely don't want that, because first of all, that's not healthy. And we know that social interaction is what make us, what inspires us and make us to do things and feel comfortable seeing people face to face. But we are, again, there is some protocol that we have to follow, such as gathering can be done, of course, just by respecting a space. And here I add protect your elderly. Well, we have meetings, family meetings, we have parties, but we are just thinking and the fun that we're going to have during that time. What we have to really look is we have to really be careful with our elderly and maintain them as far as possible, because we don't want to spread the virus. As you can see, also just be creative. Design games that you can play with your kid, with any family member at a distance. And also, I know some people might say, why no? The following one, which is no food passing. Well, if I have the virus and I don't know I have the virus, let's say, and I'm passing the food to my family, my friends, I just got a party in the park. So that's very not a good thing, and there is nothing good that is going to come out from that. What we suggest is when you gather together, make sure that everyone bring their own food, and please do a good use of the sport. Again, we want to make sure that everyone is healthy. Run, walk. If you have a bike, please use it as much as you can right now in summer. We also trying to tell people to please avoid large grouping. Again, our main concern is the distance. Make sure that you stay as far as possible. And also, if you were shipping, please make sure that you are in a space that is safe for you as well. Next slide. So this is the purpose what I'm here. I'm here to answer any question that you might have. I can answer the question by individual. If you would like to text me or send me a message individually, I will be happy to do so. I include some suggestion questions that I feel I hear a lot in my job. But again, everyone have their own question and their own concern during this situation. And I would just say take advantage of me, that I work inside that program, the amazing program that is trying to secure yourself. You could take a picture of those, you could send me any of those as well. And if you have any extras, I will definitely be happy to add. I have 6 minutes, so let's move to the next slide. All right, so this is Another amazing thing that we just designed as well to help tracers move faster and gather information as much as possible. This app is owned by the state, as you might heard. User who opt for this app will be anonymously monitored. Again, people who test positive for the COVID-19 and the people who come in contact with those positive COVID-19. So this is just to let us know that is people who might have the COVID-19. And again, we sometimes feel that we don't want to expose ourselves. So we try to take your concern and make it happen. So we definitely, with this app, just telling the community that we are hearing you. If you like to report things anonymously, please do so for using this app as well. It will help a lot of us. And just to leave your own mind, everyone is not in the dark. Our DBLAS is really hearing everyone, all of our concern, our fear, our anxiety, our overwhelming, our financial situation here is hearing as well. So that's why our tracer, we hear our contact in our cases having difficulty with financial situation, and every time we have this meeting with De Blasio, because we do have meeting with him every certain time during the month, we definitely let them know that how is our people are really feeling about the situation as well and how hit they are. And again, next slide. Just to end it here, I would definitely read this quote for you. Please think about it, because we encourage everyone in our school community to listen to the facts and not respond to fear. Again, the fact is maintain your distance. You know the virus travels 6 minutes. You can exercise just with a proper protocol. You can gather with a proper protocol. When you're elderly, please make sure that you take care of yourself as much as possible. And you can see that all the things are possible, but with certain cautious, and that's what we wanted to let you know. So thank you so much. And if Mr. Duran could put this slide, the green slide with the questions, and people could just, take pictures and so on, and then ask questions if you would like.
And we will post the presentation in our YouTube channel so people can go and revisit again. And Ms. Ciprian email, Ms. Ciprian, the email contact information is posted in the chat in case you need to contact her directly and have a session or ask her something specifically privately. Mr. Duran, take it on.
Into questions and answers now. Any questions that you have?
Has a question.
Yeah, so Mr. Prian or Mr. Mercedes, whichever. Feel free to unmute your mic or to write it on the chat and we will read it for you.
Ciprian, Duran, I have a question for Ms. Ciprian.
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Ciprian, will you happen to have a list of testing sites that we can share with our families?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. Yes, we definitely, if you go to the nyc.gov/COVID test, it should be showing you a list of sites. So it's nyc.gov/COVID test. Or you could call 311. Sometimes we give two options. You either call 311. Some people, like our elderly, are not expert with the technology, going to the browser and putting the nyc.gov. Well, 311 as well will definitely help out with that.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Prian. I hope that you could take her information down, and whenever you have a question, you could certainly reach out to her. She has her MS390 email, so she's working with us and helping us in every kind of way that she's able to.
Let me just, Mr. Duran, sorry, let me in, because I also was a little concerned with the parents or family who have elderly in our school. And I guess this question is kind of like a frequent question that we get. Who should get a diagnostic test for the COVID-19 to see if you are currently infected? Our suggestion is all New Yorkers should get the COVID-19 test, and especially important to get the test if you are planning to visit someone at higher risk for severe illness. So if you have someone who is between their 50s, they're 60, they're 70, they're 80, please make sure that you get the COVID, make sure that you are clean to prevent any further ado.
So if we don't have any more questions for either Ms. Ciprian or Mr. Mercedes, we will move then